Hello ladies in Unlock Your Sales Success, and I hope you're all well on this Monday. Again, it's spun round like really quickly, another Monday, and I wanted to bring you someone today to talk to you a little bit about her sales success, and that's Jennifer Clare Constant. So welcome Jennifer, first of all. Jennifer is founder of the Celebrant Directory, and she's a business coach, and her and I connected, I think, just this year, wasn't it? Actually, we were introduced to each other. And the reason I wanted Jen to speak to you was because we did some really quite strategic work in her sales process, and she's a very successful businesswoman already. And she's just going to share some of the bits that she kind of learnt and the differences that it made in her business, like immediately, because I think some of this stuff you think is going to take you like years and months and so long to learn and all of that, and how will you make it happen? And actually that's not the case. So I thought it'd be interesting to speak to Jen. So yeah, again, welcome, and yeah, fire away. Tell us a little bit about how you and I kind of connected and what you were looking for.
Yeah, so I started a new business. I started the Academy of Modern Celebrancy, which is a training organization to coach and train people to become celebrants. So I work in the wedding industry, so it's, you know, a fun industry filled with happiness and love and all this kind of thing. And what I'm bad at is selling. I run 3 businesses, and I've run courses myself, and you know, I run a directory site, but physically selling just gave me the heebie-jeebies. Like actually getting online like this, talking to a potential client or on the phone, no idea what to say to in order to secure that booking, and I wasn't getting anywhere, and I was putting that discovery call down with no success. So I reached out because you were, I think somebody else actually recommended you to me as someone with some incredible background and expertise that could help me actually grow my confidence.
Yes,
and I did not realize that there were so many techniques that I could be using, easy techniques that I could be using that would transform what I was doing. And from our first initial session, just the 10 ton of notes I wrote,
yeah.
I didn't, like literally nearly a whole notepad, because I didn't realize that actually it's easy to sell. You just need to know certain tweaks in what you do that is actually going to make a big difference. So, and it did. It made a big difference to me. Our initial sessions.
And I think obviously, like you say, you know, you're bubbly, you're vibrant, you're confident, love talking to people, working in the wedding industry. Yeah, and so it's not that, it's just when it would kind of come to that block where you think, oh, and now I'm going to do all that. Now I'm going to sell. And actually, you know, what I teach people is that it's no different. It's just a whole movement of doing that. And yes, you did write like a million notes, and you wanted sort of immediate implementations as well. I remember us speaking about that at the time. And so what, you know, you kind of learned that these different ways of listening to people, right? That's what we were talking about just before we came on the live. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, just to reiterate, I'm good on going live on Facebook. I have no problem doing that. I have no problem speaking in front of 200 people, which I used to do in my actual full-time career.
Yeah.
No problem getting up in front of an audience, officiating a wedding. But actually doing it on a discovery call, I felt lots of blocks. And this was something I was going to do a lot. Or hoping to do a lot. So that's why I needed those immediate results. Really, I needed just all of your knowledge, all of your brain, so that I could put these things into practice. And I did. I learned to listen, to ask questions about their future, about their life, about what is it that they want from their future, what are their goals. I didn't even think about asking these things. All I was thinking is, in the call, I need to just tell them about my course and how wonderful it is and what they're going to get at the end and how they could be a celebrant. But really, it's about how am I going to transform their life through this process and put themselves in their own shoes of thinking, I can actually do this, giving them that confidence that they can actually do it. And yeah, that made a huge difference.
Yeah, it's really interesting, isn't it? Because that's the whole coaching approach that I teach there as well, right in the center of it all. But also it's about, you know, not just, like you said, it was interesting, you said you just like tell people about, this is what I've got, this is how great it is. And it's kind of like, you know, a features overload. And again, not enough of those benefits. Like, so what's in it for me? what does that mean to me that this course is so brilliant? And so of course everything's like landing on your client with no reflection time and and what you learn to do is expand, didn't you, in that call, and learn the process, you know, in the space that you and I had, of how to do that. And you had immediate effects. So let's talk about those, because that was really exciting. You kept messaging me and going this and this and this.
No, I had to go live straight away in your group.
You did.
I had to share like the results of changing changing what I was doing, rather than being a drill sergeant going, this is what yeah, and then at the end, this is how much it is. Can you afford it? Let's go for it. You know, rather than like changing the whole way and even talking about money, you know, and that's something I'm doing. But you know, saying to him, how comfortable do you feel with that price? You know, actually putting that out there actually made a difference on this one call I had with this guy who was shopping around. He wasn't even ready to buy. He was shopping around, but with smiles and a friendly voice and someone with, you know, the experience that I had that he actually wanted.
Yes. Listening
to him, going through that whole journey with him on this call, talking about money and, you know, making that not a taboo subject, but putting that up front. He said, right, I'm going away. I've got another appointment this afternoon with another organisation. I want to talk to them first. And I've got one tomorrow, he said. And one of them was really my direct competitor. Didn't even think for a second, you know, I ended that call, didn't think for a second. And then next up, I've got 800 quid in my bank account. You know, he actually made the purchase and then emailed me saying, hey, I'm not going to talk to anyone else. Like, you gave me everything that I needed. You know, I'm yours, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, I'm yours, I'm in. And that's what you gave him, was you gave him certainty on several levels, which are the things that we talked through. And just, they are sales tools, okay? So then you think, oh, well, you know, I don't want to be pushy, I don't want to be manipulative. You don't have to be any of that. It's nonsense, because it's all about the communication. So learning to communicate, but also build in and learn the sales process, take them from step to step to step, depending, you know, was something that you adopted it like really, really quickly. And, you know, when we debriefed, didn't we, a couple of the discovery calls and just unpicked them to see what was going on, found the little glitches, if you like, and then sewed them back together with the new strategies. It was great. I loved working with you on that.
There was one point when you said you look really bored. Like, you know, but that reminded me, actually, I need to be in it, not just like waiting for their answer. I need to be smiling and be nodding and be in it. So
genuinely as well, because people will know, they know immediately. You know, if someone's not interested in you, okay, and that is massively off-putting. On a subconscious level, you're saying, I'm not really interested in you, and so therefore their response will be according to that. And so having that outside perspective, although it was a bit like shocking at first, you're like, oh, you realised that your state is everything as well. You know, being harnessed in that genuine state for selling, even when you're a confident person.
Yeah. And what's just happened to me, I've just had a final training session with someone that actually I recorded and sent to you. Sarah, her name is. I didn't enjoy my call with her, and I was on, and this was just when we first started to work together. I didn't enjoy my call because I felt like she was really standoffish and she was closed book.
I remember.
Yeah, and she was probably on my level. So I felt uncomfortable through the session. I used all the techniques, but I felt uncomfortable, and I came off that session thinking, no way, I didn't make that happen. I didn't make that happen at all. And I sent it to you, and I was disappointed because I felt like I hadn't done, you know, as well as I had done in other calls. And she still booked me, and she booked, and I just had my final training session with her. And actually her confidence is a lot less than I expected. She'd put up this wall in my session just then saying, I'm nervous, I don't know how to run a business, I need your help, you know, and surrendered herself to me, kind of. You know? So, but I did that without knowing I did it, because I was concerned for her. I was supporting her in our initial discovery call, you know, and I was asking her those questions about how she felt. I wasn't confident when I came off, but it's given me even more confidence now. We've looked into it deeper. And that's really interesting. And that's when all this process starts to become really interesting. You realise it's a little bit of a science and an art, because there, even though you didn't feel, you know, you create some boundaries between you and your client. And of course, they will give out all sorts of vibes of being confident, having it in hand, and it's your job to be able to understand
see through that and not be thinking about yourself as well, to kind of like detach from that and really sort of step into serving them. And you've just done that really well. And I just remember when you jumped in the group and I thought, oh, she's gone live in the wrong group. Why is she in my group? And then you were just like, it was such a lovely video.
Because it really did change everything for me, like working with you. And I'm not just saying it really did, working with you. My return on investment is just massive, but not just financials, but in my mindset, because I know now I can go on a discovery call and I don't have to look back over my notes that we wrote together. I just know the key elements now that I need to put in place.
Yes.
And also mastering, like what you did in your challenge, thinking about our ideal client, really mastering that. I mean, I feel like I have a few ideal clients because like people are coming to me from different areas of their life. But actually having that physically written out and understanding them, then I know the trigger points and how I can make those connections and how I can resonate.
Yeah, it's like real people. This is the thing; they are real people, and they do have different trigger points, different connection points. So when you're speaking on a live call like this, it's very different to it all going through an automation system and that doing all for you. And I think that was the thing that you found really different. It's like, oh, it's a real person. And even though being a business coach, it's like slightly out of your comfort zone in that style for that new business, because that's what we're talking about here with the new business. So I just think it's amazing to watch you then implement stuff. And it is all about implementation, isn't it? Because learning everything, reading everything, consuming all the wisdom, and then not doing anything about it. And sales is practice. Everything's practice. Coaching is practice. Business is practice. Life is blooming practice. We've got to be doing it. So, you've really done it. And I just think that's really exciting. I love to see it when it changes, because I know that it can. So what would you say to anyone that's thinking about joining the program at the moment?
Yeah, absolutely. If you have I didn't even know that I wasn't actually quite good at it. Even understanding that actually my audience that come into my business are cold and not as warm as my audience that come into another business. So how I'm talking to them is completely different, and I was doing it all wrong. So I think if you're in a place right now where you really want to up your game and up your business and make money from your business, then this is a fantastic opportunity for you.
That's the key, isn't it? Making the money from the business and growing the business, but also having the right clients, the ones that don't cause loads of hassles, the ones that aren't unhappy, because it is all about the service to the clients. And that's the benefit there, because then you'll grow a better business. And the thing is, if you learn sales really well and communication really well, you only have to learn it once and it's gone a lifetime of ROI. And that is the value in it, I think, for women especially to learn. They find it difficult.
I think what you're offering is, for the price, is just a no-brainer, like absolute no-brainer. Like
I would buy it.
The skills that you're going to learn is an absolute no-brainer. And to learn it at a pace like that as well, feeding it kind of thing is key. Yeah,
because the feedback, isn't it? It's like you do something and then you think, was that all right? Should I have said that? A lot of the work that I do, I know it sounds simple, but it's not. It's people saying to me, what do I say to that? What do I say to this? I had a message this morning. How do I handle that? What do I say to that now? What next? Because it's learning how to put all the pieces together. Communication strategy.
Talking about money is always awkward, or asking them at the end of the call, do you want to go ahead? Like, I wouldn't do that before. I'd be like, okay, have a think about it, maybe have a look at other organizations, see what
you were sending them away. Do you remember when we talked about that? And I was like, how often do you say that? And you were like, at the end, in your sort of uncomfortableness about the money, you were actually sending them packing a little bit and telling them about to go and look up.
Have a look at other organizations, see what you feel comfortable doing. I'm like, now I look back and I think, what the heck am I doing? And then I did last week. I actually said to them on the phone, so you ready? I can get you enrolled on this phone call. She was like, okay, and did it.
So people need to be asked. They need to be invited. And the best way, when you've got real success, is them saying, right, well, what do we do next? And then you haven't even had to ask for anything. But there's lots of different ways of asking. It's not just like the straightforward ones. There's lots of different subtleties to it. But they're all, as long as the intention is always there, that it's the best thing for them, it's the right thing, and it's the right solution, it will all flow. And you're like standing shining example of that, Jen, so I'm pleased.
And I think the difference with something like your course and doing a general coaching course, I would say, is that you're actually giving skills to implement. And that's something that I learned differently. I've had some amazing coaches in the past who would give me advice, but not actually tell me, hey, actually, this is what you could do, and it will.
Yes.
The notes that I took down were notes for things for me to actually do on these calls or to do within my email chain.
Yeah, straight away.
Yeah, straight away, that actually worked. So a lot of courses, you know, it takes time to like actually put things
implement them.
I think for your course, it's like straight away put these things into practice, and you're gonna get results.
That's what people don't realise. You can turn the keys really, really easily by just knowing how to handle the sales conversation, which is, you know, actually my mission, to enable everyone who comes near me to be able to enjoy having one of those and realise it's not the horror that they thought it was. So thank you for sharing your experience, and I really hope that's helped anyone.